Good Sunday morning. I'm Jaden Jefferson, and welcome to this week's Community Focus. Here at the Toledo Museum of Art, there is a new exhibit that features the work of artists over the age of 55. But why? I spoke to the museum to learn more. Why in particular did the museum want to feature art from that age group?
I think that age group in particular, it is hard to get them to participate in anything. So this was, after COVID especially, I think a lot kind of that being homebound, trying to get them back out and socializing, that was a big thing. So this was a way to entice them to come to their local senior center and participate in some really fabulous art making.
Kind of speak to that part. Was it kind of hard to convince them to be engaged with this?
I think that the big thing is that a lot of our participants at first were like, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, this is out of my comfort zone. So for us, we were really trying hard to first get them to just trust us and trust the process and know that, even if they didn't feel like they were an artist, we could bring that artist out in them. And I think we really succeeded there. We started off super simple with painting basics and drawing basics, and then we were able to lead them into glass, fibers, sculpture, all kinds of different things.
And I think one thing that sticks out in just looking at everything here, these aren't trained artists. This is really impressive.
We do definitely we had a few artists, a couple artists, and even them, they were like stuck to a certain medium. So it was nice to introduce them to different things. But yes, a lot of them, one of my favorite stories to tell is one of our artists at Senior Centers Inc. She didn't want to take the class, and we really kind of kept working through her each session, like, come on, join us for this one. So she finally joined, and she was sitting and working on one of the cardboard Marisol faces back there, and she finished it, and I just happened to be visiting that day, and she yelled out, I'm an artist, and she was so excited. So it really does give them this sense of pride and accomplishment for what they've been doing.
And then, of course, you had mentioned COVID. They had fear for themselves and for others. And so kind of talk about getting them out of the house and getting active and engaged with others, because it's important for everyone's mental health to be involved.
It's so important. Art is so therapeutic. And I speak specifically to one of our senior centers, Mayores. When we first talked about coming and working on this with them, when we talked to their director, she said after COVID, she really wasn't getting the attendance that she wanted. And fast forward a year later, they are one of our highest participants. We always have a full class with a full waiting list, and people will come and sit outside of the class just waiting to grab their spot each week. So it really has motivated people to kind of come out, break out of that isolation a little bit, and socialize, and then also learn some really beautiful skills.
And there are a few different mediums you'd mentioned. Obviously, there are some paintings here. And then we were just talking about this before the interview. There were these different pieces that were put together into quilts.
Mm-hmm. So our fibers we did a fibers one and an elevated fibers, and they did some batik work that then we combined into a collaborative project that we'll be able to send to the senior centers. We also did that with our glass. We worked on some glass tiles with the senior centers that we put together to spell out the name of the senior center that will go back to them too. We like to leave some nice collaborative projects for each space.
And this is obviously a newer program, but what do you think the future is going to look like for this, for seniors in our community?
I mean, the last year, we have become family with these 5 senior centers. And so I think now, since we've shown them those basic skills, we've gained that trust, we've gotten that popularity and that want and desire to participate, there's no end in sight. We are working on we're another year of this, so our next 6 classes, we're going to be doing some pop-up bookmaking, some art in the dark, some elevated painting classes. We have more glass that is coming in, some woodwork, so we're really excited for what the future holds.
Yeah, I think a key word here is engagement, because obviously people go to an art museum and they think they're just there to see an exhibit, walk out and leave, but there is the community part to that, because the museum's been here for decades.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the point of this program, was hopefully to reintroduce the museum to our local neighborhood, because these are all senior centers in our 2-mile radius and in our backyard. And so this was a way to introduce the museum back to those communities, and we've actually even scheduled tours for them to come back, and we had an opening for this, and we had over 200 people come with their families to see their artwork is hanging in an art museum. I mean, how many people can say that? So it's really, really nice to have that. And again, we will just keep doing these shows. We tie all of our projects back to the collection, and we're always trying to bring them in for tours. And some that were hesitant to visit the museum, they're now begging for more tours and more visits. So
Yeah, there definitely is a welcoming feel here, but I don't think my macaroni art belongs here. Just kind of looking through all that.
We'll elevate the macaroni art for
Yeah,
sure.
if we just put a frame around it, it'll look useful. But I will say, though, I mean, there are other age groups in different brackets that you all engage with. So kind of speak to some of those programs.
So we have a very active outreach program, and we also work with local community centers in the 2-mile radius, our libraries. We work with 3 different libraries. We work with some of our housing communities here. We work with the local churches, and we just started working with some of our local Catholic churches around the area as well, and it's all in that 2-mile radius. So again, it's ages 2 to 100 is who outreach hits, and it is a pretty amazing little community outreach family that we have acquired.
So what are some ways that people watching at home can actually find out about these programs and get connected?
So we are really trying hard to make that a possibility. We are on our webpage. There's some stuff about our outreach, but we're out in the community all the time. We're at a lot of the big events, so that is our way to branch out of the 2-mile radius, is to attend some of our local events. So we'll be at things. We were just at an Ability Center Family Day last week. We'll be at a lot of other events around. We were participating in our Pride event a couple of weeks ago at the library. So you'll find us all out and about all the time. Just look for the Outreach tablecloth.
And that's this week's show. I'm Jaden Jefferson. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.